Welcome, I'm Colleen Hesnock, the owner and chef at Jabba-Jacks in beautiful Rocky Harbor, Newfoundland and Labrador. And today in our how-to series, as a request from one of my uncles actually, we are going to make perfect pizza dough and we're going to make wonderful pizza to go along with it. So what are we going to need? First, we're going to get started here with a little bit of yeast, 2 teaspoons or a packet that you could get, and you can rip open the package. So I have this here. I have 1 teaspoon of sugar. Interestingly, the yeast will activate with the sugar and create some wonderful leavening agents. We're going to add some water. We're going to take 1 cup of water. So with the 2 teaspoons of yeast and the 1 teaspoon of sugar, I'm going to add 1 cup of water. Now, the water is important. The temperature of that water is so important that I have a thermometer. And the thermometer needs to read 45 degrees Celsius. Otherwise, the yeast will not activate. Or if it's too high, it'll actually kill it. So I like to put it here and then measure it out later. I want to make sure I get the right temperature. So 45 degrees, we're still a little bit too cold. I'll try again. Make sure I get 45 degrees Celsius. Here we go. 44, 45.3, 45.6. Okay, 46, and we're good to go. So 1 cup of this nice warm water. 1 cup with 2 teaspoons of the yeast and 1 teaspoon of the sugar. Okay, just gonna mix that up. Mix it up so that your yeast is not clumping. And we're gonna let it activate for just a minute. Okay, move that to the side. Okay, so now we're gonna get the rest of the dough ingredients ready. 2½ cups of flour. And measure them like this so that you're a little bit more sure as to the measurements. That's 2 cups, 2½ cups. Voila. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of salt in here. Done. And 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Just like that. 1, 2 tablespoons. Okay. Start to stir it up. Get that all mixed. It's pizza, so it's Italian. Italian means olive oil in terms of the fat that's used. The French will use butter. So I'm mixing it so that all the ingredients are incorporated. And when that's done, I'm going to add the yeast, this mixture in here. Just like that. I'm just going to stir it all up together. Incorporate all of the ingredients. Look at that. Okay. Now, while I'm not Italian, the pizza dough can be pretty sticky, so I've incorporated it all here. I'm going to put it out onto a floured surface, just like that. Might need is a little wet, so it might need a little bit of extra flour. No problem. Add a little extra if you're uncertain, just like that. I'm just rolling the dough with the heels of my hands, just like that. And that's working the gluten and incorporating all of the ingredients. On my floured surface. Okay, now I'm going to let it sit for 10 minutes. and let it rise, let it rest and rise. Okay, our dough is ready. Have a look at this wonderful dough. I mean, this is what it should look like. It should have a little stickiness to it. And we're gonna take it out of here. It should be a little bit puffy. We didn't let it rise a whole lot, but it'll rise as it's cooking. We're going to turn on the oven now at 450 degrees so that we can get the oven preheated as we make our pizza. So what we would do, again, the fat that we use for a pizza, because this is Italian, is olive oil. So about 2 tablespoons we would put onto the pan here. Okay, and we're going to grease the pan with the olive oil. And that's how we're going to grease this pan. Okay, you can get your hands into it, grease it up, make sure the edges is all fully greased here. Your hands into it. Make sure you wash your hands before you get there. Here we have that. Now, the dough. I mean, you've seen all those special, fabulous Italians who do all kinds of stuff with the dough. Just gonna lay it in here, press it out to the edges. And then it will rise in the oven as well. We're just making it fit the pan. It will stretch as you move it along. It'll take a moment to get that done. You can add a little grease to your hands so that it moves better. Just have a little patience. It does have a little memory. So move it out to the edge. Now, if you don't have a round pan, use a square one. I have one here. Look, the size, use a square rectangular pan. Don't worry, it doesn't have to be round. Well, they say pizza is a pie in Italian, so that's why they make some pie pans. It also creates sort of uniformity, and the ability to cut it is a lot easier. Now, have a look at that. Okay, I'm just going to make a little bit more of the crust here on the edges. It's easier then to get it out of the pan. So now we have the perfect pizza dough. I'll just finish up the edges here, just all the way around. We're going to add some pizza sauce. You can make your own. We'll soon have a how-to video on how you can make your own pizza sauce. This is a store-bought one, and certainly, whether they're in a jar or in a can, there's lots of good varieties out there in terms of the different types of pizza sauces. And just smooth a small layer on the bottom. It's all liquidy, so that's what's going to give us some of the flavors. Voila. I'm going to add the cheese. I know lots of times that when I was growing up, we would add the cheese last. But we want the cheese to melt and to create a little bit of space so that the toppings themselves can cook and have direct heat, particularly as I have some onions there, and the onions will need a lot more direct heat to actually cook and marry in here. So we will add this. Be generous with your mozzarella. I've shredded it in advance. This was one of those balls of pizza mozzarella that you can get at the grocery store. Look at that. Woohoo. We're gonna have a little pizza for our afternoon snack. Yep, look at that. Okay, now the pepperoni. We have a little excerpt on how to prepare pepperoni, particularly if you are buying one of those sticks of pepperoni. This is a cooked pepperoni, and certainly you can have a dry cured. So we'll snap to that. So for the pepperoni, any type of pepperoni, certainly if you can buy it at the grocery store in pillow packs, it's already pre-sliced, they're perfect slices. And really that's what you're after. When you slice your pepperoni, if you have one of these types of pepperoni, open up the plastic and take it off, take the label off. And inside here, there actually is what is called a fibrous casing. And that just keeps all of the pepperoni together, and it creates the skin when it's actually cooked. So you take that off. Now, in order for us to get really perfect slices, what we're gonna do is we're gonna crust freeze it. We're gonna put it in the freezer, wrap it in a little bit of saran wrap, a little cellophane, and we put it in the freezer until it gets a little firm. We don't want it fully frozen, we just want it firm enough so that we're gonna be able to get perfectly even slices for our pizza. It's important that they be even slices so they cook all the same and you have a perfect pizza then. So we're just gonna place the pepperoni on here. You can see that I've sliced them evenly, just some thin slices. You can go a little thinner if you like so that they curl. So I've tried to put the pepperoni in here fairly evenly. Okay, so we have some perfect. We're gonna add a little onion on top of that. These are Spanish onions, so they taste sweeter than yellow onions, but certainly yellow onions can be tossed here on the outside. Again, even distribution all the way around. Throw on a little olives. They will add a little bit of a salty flavor. Okay, and a little bacon. What is pizza without some bacon? I see that my oven is ready, 450 degrees. We're gonna put it in the oven and we'll be right back. So our pizza is out of the oven. Have a look at this. So it's best to actually give that a cut when it's hot. Okay, so let's take them out, see what we have here. Look at all that goodness. Oh, wow. And our pie crust is perfect. Done all the way through, and it's risen a little bit. We have a perfect pie crust. Look at this. Till next time, I'm Colleen Hiscock. Bon appetit.